Hi, it's Nick West. I'm just following up the video that I produced earlier, which was the creating the banana battleship, the composition you can see in front of you. What I thought I'd do was maybe talk through in a little bit more detail on some of the things I did. It's not a complicated image. I haven't used any particularly difficult techniques. I'm learning a lot myself at the moment, so it's really just an evolutionary path towards improving images. So before I start, what I want to do is talk around a few of the things on the screen and then just show you the quick steps that I did to get to the final image. So the first thing is this yellow icon up here, which is the notes. If you go to the eyedropper on the left hand side and if you right click on there, you can see there's a note tool. It's not very obvious if you never really used the system before, but in there you can create new notes by clicking on the screen, and what this does is you can record items that you might want to make a note of. So here, for example, I've got a list of the photographs that I used in this composition, so that's quite handy. To the bottom right, I've color coded the layers so that I can use them. So here, if you right click, you can see the different colors, and the only real reason I've done that is because there's layers that I haven't used. In some compositions I've grouped them depending upon the particular area of the picture or the particular elements that I want to group together, or if I've used layers and haven't used layers, so that when I do go in and click and unclick, I remember which ones I originally had selected. So the image itself is made up of three parts. There's the background base image, which I'll show you in a second. There's this element here, which is from Brighton Beach. It's just a fairly straightforward sea and sky element, and I used that at different stages. And then here we've got pebbles. I like the texture, although when I took the photograph I had no idea I was going to use it in a composition. So again, I've used a cutout of that as well. Back here, if I just untick all of the elements, so you get the base image. Here we are. This is the studio shot base image of the ship with a laser light background, and I've rather crudely covered up the bottom of the ship with a bit of paintbrush basically. So the first thing I wanted to do was add the sea, so I went into the photograph for the sea and basically cut out a section. You can see that there's no seagulls there. You can see it's a certain part of the picture, and I used this mark tool up here in order to do that. What I also did was, up here, when you do select something, you can go in and transform it, so you can adjust the scale. In fact, let me quickly demonstrate that. So if I take an element there, and if I go edit, copy, then edit, paste, that will pop up. It's a new layer, so you can adjust it. You can see it's rather large. There's a seagull in there, so you might want to tidy that up a bit rougher than the picture I've got. But if you now go up to the edit, you can see you can transform it by adjusting the scale, which means you can bring it down or increase it, and you can move it around as much as you wish. So that's one element that was done, so I dropped that in there. And then of course I wanted to add a filter, so I picked a nice blue color here, and then I selected overlay. Now to pick the color, you just click on the palette and then you can scroll through whichever color you want. If you want to be precise and you know the actual color you want to match with another example, then you can see it in here, or you can program it in yourself to get the exact color that you want. So once I'd done that, you can see that the upper half of the ship was a bit darker, and I didn't really want it to be that dark, and it looks a bit off for me anyway. So what I wanted to do was cut out and reapply the upper part of the ship, and I did that by taking away the dark black element at the bottom and then simply reapplying the cutout on top. So the next stage then was to look at the hull. So I originally wanted to put a pebble background. I've become a bit fascinated by this pebble pattern, so I wanted to apply that, and so that's an example of it to start with. And then I thought, okay, it would look pretty good on the hull, and there's a slightly different arrangement with that as well. So here you can see I've got colour burn, You can use all sorts of different adjustments in here, so you can do normal, dissolve. There's a lot of different features, and as I scroll through, I don't have a preconceived idea of what I want, but I hit something I like and then I choose it. So in this case it was color burn, and then that was that. So I cut out the shape of the hull and applied that as a layer. The next one was to have the sky. Now I think I've taken this from another picture, not necessarily this one here. It's based on this one, but I've obviously applied a yellow filter at some stage, and then I've cut out the superstructure and the top half of the picture just so that it has the sky there. And then I've applied exactly the same filter here. And that's where we get to the finished image. There's a lot of other things in there about various effects, and there's other ways of applying this which I'll cover off in different videos. But in essence, it's a fairly straightforward straightforward image of the ship having been adjusted so that it makes things a bit different, a bit more interesting. Thank you very much. If you like this, please comment. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to fire them my way. I'm more than happy to answer them as best I can. Thank you.